Hey guys, so you've probably already read chapters 3 and 4 of the book, and so now we're going to talk about week two's homework assignment, which is capturing the vision. Goals are simply dreams with deadlines, Napoleon Hill. So we're going to read through each of the pages, and when I say pause, you can take some time to write down your answers or reflect on what they're asking. Section 1. In week 1, we discovered that we have permission to dream and dream big. We also discussed the importance of writing things down to retain them and make them a part of our daily vision. Now that you have a clear idea of what you want to accomplish and where you want to be, it's time to write down your goals. If you've been following along in this book, you may have already written down your goals. If not, take some time to read through the following questions and thoughts before making your list to see if other ideas come up for you or if it affects how you see your goals. Goals determine what drives you. There probably isn't a person reading this book who hasn't heard the importance of having goals in writing. However, if you walk up to the average person and ask to see their written list of goals, they don't have one. Why do you think people don't follow through on what's that important step? If you have not written your goals, think about why not and write down some of the reasons. Once you've done that, write next to them why those excuses should not get in your way and how you can remove them as obstacles for setting your goals. Pause. Moving on. God wants us to have goals and intermediate objectives that we strive towards each year. We have talked a lot about dreaming big, and that is important, but it is vital to have smaller dreams, incremental goals that you can focus on to help moving you toward your bigger goals. What are some smaller goals you can add to your list to help you stay on track and focused on the big prize? Where there is no goals, neither will there be significant accomplishments. There will only be existence. Anonymous. Pause and write your answers. Moving on. Dreams are given to you by God. People often get so excited about the process that they tend to set unrealistic goals in the beginning. They might decide to want to become a millionaire in the next year or lose 50 pounds by swimsuit season when it's already spring. Setting goals that are too unrealistic may take longer than 12 to 18 months to achieve, and they set you up for disappointment. I know this may sound contradictory to what I encourage you to do dreaming big, but it isn't really. If you want to have high aspirations, by laying out a roadmap for how to get there, that is doable. If you want to lose weight, think about how much it is healthy and sustainable to lose in a designated amount of time. If you want to be a millionaire and you are currently in debt and making $30,000 a year, set the target date a little farther out and write out what in your finances and earning potential that you need to change to achieve that goal. Look at your list goals and consider them from a realistic point of view, then revise. If necessary, include achievable steps to keeping moving toward the big goals. In this book, we covered the 30-day challenge. So number 1, for the next 30 days, write your 10 goals once a day. Number 2, write them down in the present tense. Number 3, write it down each day without looking back to what you wrote yesterday. If you can't remember all 10 original goals, that's okay. It just means they weren't all that important to you. Focus on the ones that capture your imagination and motivate you to achieve. So use the spaces below to write out your top 10 goals and use a separate notebook to write them down every day. Pause. Then you want to write your top 10 goals for this year or for the next 12 to 18 months. Pause. So goal setting SMART techniques, look more closely at SMART goals technique, or let's look more closely, at the SMART goals technique. So S again, be specific. You must bring clarity to what you want to accomplish by being as specific as possible. M is measurable. This is where you can truly measure whether or not you can hit a goal. Action-oriented, so A is action-oriented. Use action verbs when setting goals, such as reduce, save, earn, exercise, invest, enroll, run, etc. R is for realistic. If your goals are too big, you are setting yourself up to fail. I encourage you to set goals that stretch you and cause you to grow, but are also somewhat attainable. And T, timeline. Deadlines are motivating. Always establish a by when date. It keeps you motivated to achieve it. The most productive day in the year is the day before vacation. Why? There's a deadline. The quickest way to clean your house is to invite company over. Why? There's a deadline. So use the use the space below to look at your top 10 goals and apply the SMART technique to see if you're on target. Pause. Set a stretch goal. The stretch goal takes you back to the highest expectations and mountain moving faith I asked you to tap into when you were dreaming big. As you set the smaller goals that you have evaluated under the SMART technique, look at them again and see if there is anywhere you can stretch yourself. Identify an area you feel is vitally important to you this year and write it down in a way to reach a little further than you can think. Pause. Section 2. Now that you've got a clear picture in your head about what you want and realistic goals for how to move toward those dreams, it's time to start working and putting what is in your mind into pictures on your board that will remind you daily of what you are striving for. Frame your future. When we want to remember the important people in our lives and special times we spent with them or commemorate things we've previously done and accomplished, we put photographs, certificates, and other mementos in a frame or a scrapbook. A vision board is just the opposite. When you create a vision board, you're literally framing your future before it even happens. In the space below, write down the reasons you think it is important to frame your future in such a way. What benefits do you think you will get from doing this? You might want to think about what picturing your past does for you and then compare and contrast with the benefits of how it will change your life and frame your future. Pause. The idea is to find images that are a tangible representation of where you want to go in life. So before you go searching, in order to make your time more productive, write down what types of images you want to represent your goals. Pause. Your SMART goals in pictures. Your SMART goals have an important place on your vision board next to your big dreams because once you start achieving these more attainable goals, you will find more motivation to stay focused on the larger dreams of your life. Referring back to the list of top 10 goals for the year, find images that illustrate those goals as well. Write your list below, and as you search for images, make notes of what makes these goals attainable and how they factor into your bigger dreams. Pause. When we get too many items on the board, it can create a snapshot of confusion. So being selective is essential. Arrange your photos and your goals in an order that appeals to you. I prefer to have giant numbers next to each of my 10 goals for the year. Use the space below to experiment with different designs and sketch the layout of your vision board so you have an organized approach to it before you start gluing and pinning things on the board. Pause. Special occasion or themed boards. Some people have several vision boards that represent specific themes or special occasions. Your board doesn't have to be for the great aspirations of your life's purpose. What other goals or ambitions do you have? Are you planning a big wedding, a special family vacation, a new home? Write in the spaces below those themes and special occasions that might need a vision board for you to more effectively work towards them. Pause. No matter your dream, it is important to have a clear vision of what it will take to achieve it. Think about what it will take, budget, resources, time, etc., to make those goals happen, and write those down as well. Pause. So now we're at action step for week 2. Take the 10-30 goal challenge. You may or may not want to look over your extensive list created in chapters 2 to pull ideas from. If you choose to sift through this list, narrow it down to what it feels the most important at this time in your life. It can include financial goals, family goals, physical goals, career goals. They can be as big or as small as you want, as long as you feel that there's a 50% chance of it happening. Use a notebook, write your top 10 goals for this year, for the next 12 to 18 months, for the next 30 days. Write your goals once a day. Write them in present tense. Write them down each day without looking back at what you wrote yesterday. Review the SMART goals technique as you're listing them. Imagine it is December 31st and you joyfully exclaim, "This has been the most amazing year of my life." What needs to happen in order for you to say that? Write those goals down.